you are a hiker, you're a cyclist, or a runner, you might have considered using some sort of GPS to help enhance your experience in the great outdoors. Here to talk with us about how we can use these devices in our excursions is Bob Mosier with REI. Bob, always a pleasure to see you.
Great, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, of course, a lot of people familiar with the GPS. We have them in our phones, you know, the TomToms, the Garmins. Let's talk about the devices that we can be using going for a hike or getting out in the great outdoors. What is the main difference aside from the fact that we're not mapping streets?
Oh, you're exactly right. So the biggest differences you'll see between a handheld GPS receiver on your phone is that a handheld GPS receiver is significantly more rugged. If I take my phone and accidentally drop it on a rock, chances are I'm spending several $100s to replace that phone.
Right.
Where a GPS receiver is probably going to survive that fall. Other things, your phone, has just a limited battery life to it, where if the batteries die in your GPS, you can also replace those out. The other really big thing is a lot of apps require a data connection in order to work.
Gotcha.
And where you're going, a lot of times there's no data to actually connect to.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever gone out hiking in the Jemez, you know that for a fact. Your service drops out. So we get into those service areas, especially people that are really, really outdoorsy and want to go on these excursions. Let's talk about what happens when we get into those service areas. These are working on satellite.
Sure.
So will these be covered virtually anywhere we go?
Anywhere on the planet, as long as you've got a good, clear view of the sky, they're going to work.
Okay.
You need at least 4 satellites to be able to lock onto, and there's currently 32 up in the sky. So there's never less than 8 above you at any time. And they can do 4 major things. They can tell you exactly where you are anywhere on the planet. They can save those locations for future reference. They can also tell you how far away those locations are if you're not at that exact point. Then they can also leave a virtual breadcrumb trail. So if you go out and get lost, it's going to tell you exactly how you got there and get you back to your starting location.
That's really important. So let's talk about a couple of these right here that we're looking at. These are, of course, both made by Garmin, a very trusted name when it comes to GPS. So tell us about these units here in particular.
Sure. So the eTrex 10 is probably their entry-level one. It runs for $110, and it's going to do all 4 of those basic features that we talked about. And then the extra price will give you extra features as well. For example, the GPS Map 64ST, that also adds a little bit better reception to it. It's going to have preloaded maps so that if you're hiking 6 miles and there's a giant mountain in the way, it's going to give you an idea of what to expect along your route as well.
Wow, okay. So, and what is the price difference for this? We said a little bit more for this guy?
Well, it's so this one runs for $500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's more than a little more. But
more than a little more, yeah. But if you're a real enthusiast, if this is something that you're doing, I think that that's definitely worth the investment. When we're talking about
you're exactly right. Depending on how much time you're wanting to spend outdoors, maybe the entry-level one's going to serve all of your needs, or you may want to spend a little bit more to get a little bit more features to it as well.
Gotcha. Okay, now just very quickly before we go on a different subject, you guys have a really cool event happening tonight at REI, is that right?
We do. Chaco Footwear is celebrating their 25th anniversary, so they're hitting the road doing a national tour. They're stopping by REI Albuquerque this evening from 4 to 8 p.m. They'll have a photo booth, they'll have free giveaways, and you can check out their new products. The other big thing is they're going to be having a sweepstakes. You can enter to win a $5,000 trip of a lifetime as well.
Wow. That is incredible. So from 4 to 8 at REI, just off of I-25. And of course, we'll have links to all this on our website at casa.com under the Casa blog.